Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. In today's video, I'm super excited to be able to share with you my Alpha Clash spoiler or spoilers as you'll be able to see here in the video. We're going to talk about some of the cards that I'm able to show you as well as some of the product that I'm able to show you. We're going to talk about, what it means for set 2, but also I want to have a little bit of focus on this spoiler video of what it means for new players in the Alpha Clash TCG. So if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. And we'll get right into it. So I was approached by Alpha Clash to be able to show off some products, show off some spoilers, and I thought about how I wanted to do it. I wanted to make it more thematic, like I've done other spoiler videos for other card games and stuff like that. But I really wanted to go back to like my roots of how I do content and just talk about it, because Alpha Clash TCG is a very new game. It's a very fun TCG. It's one of my favorite ones so far, my favorite one of this year, and it's one that I wanted to kind of show new players what this product means and what these new cards mean, and be able to talk you through it and why you should purchase it, as well as show off the cards themselves. So today we're going to talk about the box and the box art for the Clash kit for season 2 or set 2 of CLASHGROUNDS. We're going to talk about the pack art a little bit. I'm going to show you the contenders that are in the Clash kit and their specific abilities and traits, and kind of talk about that and what that means, as well as show you some of the card exclusives that are only in the Clash kit for set 2 of CLASHGROUNDS. So we'll get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is just the box, the product itself. CLASHGROUNDS is set 2 for the Alpha Clash TCG. And the thematics of this, if you're not sure what CLASHGROUNDS means, in the game of Alpha Clash, you have what are known as CLASHGROUNDS. They're similar to other TCGs. They're a long-standing effect, like a stadium in another game, where basically you put this card on the field and it affects both players, whether negatively or positively, and then that doesn't leave the field until someone else puts a Clash ground, whether it's the same player or a different player. So they're really, really impactful cards, and they're kind of like the stage or the battlefield, so to speak, of that clash. So both from a play perspective and from a thematics perspective, they're very, very important. You'll see Clash grounds like New York City, Chicago, but also we might start seeing Clash grounds in other realms outside of Earth. Who knows? So this is the kit. This is what it looks like. This is going to be your starter level or your entry level product. And when they approached me to spoil this and talk about this is why I wanted to do this type of video. Normally for a spoiler video, I would just do a fun thematic thing and show the product and call it a day, but I really wanted to explain this and talk about like why this is so good. So it's a 2-player Clash kit. As you can see on the back of the box, it kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown. It's between 2 contenders, Mean Streak and Machina, are ready to throw down in this new 2-player Clash kit. Will you outrace and maneuver your opponent with the speedster Mean Streak, or will you strike hard and deal massive damage with powerful Machina? Each Clash kit comes with 2 ready-to-play decks and an exclusive promo card, which we'll show here in a second. Last stand, as you can see, 1 in every 10 Clash kits will give you an alternate art, like foil stamped, gold foil stamped promo kits. There's a little bit of a chase in here. It's really nice, and for newer players, this gives you a good entry level into the game, but it also gives you a little bit of like fun goodies too, by giving you exclusive cards that only come in the kit, as well as have a chance to get alternate art stuff. So that's one of the biggest things I like about this. When it comes to, I won't go super in depth because we do have a lot to cover here, but the one thing I like about the Alpha Clash TCG, if you're a new player watching this or you're just interested in the game, is starter level product in TCGs is kind of, a little iffy. A lot of them are very like not tuned decks, not very good decks, or they're super like basic, or maybe, they just don't teach you the game in the right way. Alpha Clash does a very good job at teaching you a game. They have a QR code on the bottom right of the box that teaches you how to play, takes you straight to the website to teach you how to play. They have exclusive foil heroes, as I have here. There's no really great way to show this, but a normal hero card, contender, not hero, contender comes in this like just normal, which is still good, normal card stock. But the foil heroes have this like graded foil texture that's super, super nice, and it shines a little bit more, and it's a little bit thicker card stock. So you get that as well. And then you also have a chance to get the alt art AXO promo. So one thing I also like about this is they also are doing some reprints from set 1. Mean Streak, and we'll talk about in a second, is getting some reprints from the Mean Streak in set 1 in T-Bone's kit specifically. Mean Streak is an alpha, so being able to use those alpha cards and have that alpha synergy is very important. And the Machina is getting a little bit of Torque's kit from set 1, where both of them like to hit hard. They like to deal damage not just in clashes, but they like to deal damage in other ways, and basically sometimes take a little life from themselves to be able to deal more damage to someone else. So it's really, really cool. Highly suggest getting this, and we'll kind of talk about it as we go through this. So the next thing we need to talk about is the Contenders. So the Contenders in the Clash kits, normally Contenders are anywhere, they can range, it seems, from 20 to 30 health. 30 health is like the standard. 25 health is what's going to be the health for these Clash kit specific Contenders. Now, we've seen Mean Streak before in set 1. This Mean Streak has completely different abilities, so it's almost like a different version of the same Contender. Mean Streak boosted is Clash cards you control with no streak counters get trigger attack, so when they attack, you put 1 streak counter on that card. Once per turn during your primary phase, you may engage this card and remove 2 streak counters from among Clash cards you control. If you do, draw a card. And then at 15 life, Mean Streak gets Clash cards your opponents control get -1 attack, -0 defense. So go 1 less attack. So the reason this is important, really quickly, if you're not familiar, Mean Streak in set 1 is very much like a combo-like deck. What you want to do with Mean Streak from set 1 is build up a lot of Mean Streak counters on your like big drops or your big boys in his kit, and then be able to have buffed abilities because of that, and really rely on that. Kind of the weakness of Mean Streak in set 1 is that if that plan doesn't work out, it's really hard to keep tempo. You're really reliant on that combo strategy. Mean Streak in this one is a lot different. Mean Streak is a little bit more tempo based. What you're doing is you're constantly, instead of putting like 6, 7 streak counters on one card, you're looking to put like 1 streak counter on a card, 2 streak counters on a card, and get a slight buffed ability, and then also have more card draw. And we'll talk about that when we look at the card specific cards in this Clash kit. Machina, Savage Striker, very similar to just the red archetype in general. We were introduced to red in set 1 with Torque, and Torque's ability was very much, yes, you deal, clash damage and you fight and things of that nature, but Torque also did what was called non-clash damage, or like almost like indirect damage to both himself and the opponent in order to get buffs. Machina has the same flavor and style, saying once per turn during your primary phase, you may engage this card and send a non-trap accessory you control to the Oblivion. If you do, deal 2 damage to target contender or Clash card, then draw a card. And then at 15 life, whenever an accessory you control is sent to the Oblivion from play, target Clash cards you control get 1/1 till the end of turn, which is a really big deal. So basically, sometimes you're going to mill yourself, sometimes you're going to deal damage to yourself in order to get a buff to then put pressure on your opponent. You also have indirect ways of dealing damage, like the red archetype in general, in the Alpha Clash TCG, to be able to take out some opponent's pesky things on the board. What you'll notice when you play Alpha Clash is sometimes the Clash card that you have on your side of the board isn't as powerful as the Clash card they have on their side of the board. And since this game has recoil, which means if someone attacks you and their cards turn sideways for your turn, if you try to attack that card to kill it, they're still going to deal damage back to your card. So sometimes if someone has like a 5/5 on their side and you have a 4/4, 4 offense, 4 defense on your side, attacking their rested Clash card won't kill it. It'll just kill you. Well, contenders like Machina and Torque are able to deal indirect damage first to that contender and then finish them off maybe with a lesser powered Clash card. Another cool thing about Machina that is not very common in the game so far, it's a brand new kind of play loop, is the accessory zone manipulation. We do see a lot of accessory zone manipulation with Moxie, with her weapons. Machina is really trying to utilize the non-trap cards in order to get small buffs from maybe weapons or accessories, and then be able to discard them to get continuous buffs. Machina also has some cards, and we'll talk about it here in a second, in his kit that allow you to bring those accessories back, and basically you just cycle through your accessory zone. So if your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with your accessory zone, Machina can get consistent buffs, consistent pressure, and basically be able to cycle cards that have good draw power and deal damage both from a Clash perspective and non-Clash damage perspective. So that's really cool. So let's talk about the Clash cards. So there is 11 Clash not Clash cards, but just cards in general. There's 11 exclusive cards within this Clash kit. Some 4 are meant for Machinist kit, 4 are meant for Mean Streaks kit, and then we have Last Stand, which is the AXO promo, which again, 1 in every 10 boxes will be the one in the top left of your right of your screen right now as you're looking at it, will be gold foiled and stamped, which is really, really cool. So as you can see, Machinist kits, he has some really key cards in the exclusives that, again, we're going back to a starter level product. What I like about Alpha Clash and what they do is you'll see some starter level product, maybe they'll have 1 exclusive card or something like that, right? And then that card becomes a chase card for collectors. It becomes really, really a pain in the butt for players to get that card, and it just feels kind of bad, right? Alpha Clash has done a great job at putting good, but not broken, good, powerful cards that are exclusive to the Clash kits in their kits itself. So that way, new players get a little more agency. You feel a little good about what you're getting, but also existing players have a reason to buy the starter level product, right? So it's good for both sides. Machina has stuff like Machina Heavy Brawler, which allows you to put a non-trap accessory from your Oblivion back into your accessory zone. Costs 2 or less, which is really, really nice. So if you destroy or you discard a card from your accessory zone that's non-trap into your Oblivion by using Machina's ability and getting that buff or getting or dealing damage to another contender or a Clash card, you then can use Machina Heavy Brawler to attack and bring it right back, right? So if Machina Heavy Brawler is on the field and you use Machina's ability to deal non-clash damage to something else, then you can just attack with Heavy Brawler and bring that non-trap accessory 2 or less right back into the field. Machina also has Clash Grounds like Siberia that says Clash cards lose and can't gain, or Clash cards lose super speed and can't gain super speed, right? Attached costs for weapons are reduced by 1, and attached costs for black weapons are reduced by 1. So what this allows you to do is 2 things. One, what's really cool about the Clash kits, and it was the same thing in the first Clash kit for the first season, or first set of Alpha Clash TCG, is they also play into the thematics of this. If you're new to the game, they do a really good job at using their lore. Highly suggest going down the description below and looking at their website. They have lore to all of these contenders, to all of these battles. And in the Clash kits, they're giving you good quality cards, but they're also allowing you to have a little bit of lore towards this Clash, right? Because this Clash kit is Mean Streak and Machina going up against each other and clashing. So what they do is they give cards that directly counter the other deck in the Clash kit, so both players can feel a little bit of agency, right? A lot of times you might have like a lopsided matchup in a starter level decks. These really try to give both players a little bit of agency. Another cool one, which they even put Mean Streak on a card in Machina's kit, it says trigger enter, deal 1 damage to target Clash card. When this card leaves play, deal 1 damage to target contender. So you're allowed to, again, as you're attacking, as you're entering, as you're leaving, or as you're entering, as you're leaving, you're allowed to deal extra damage, right? So just by going through your game plan and doing things, it allows you to continue your game plans. And it's an accessory. So this will enter the field. It'll deal damage to target Clash card. Then you're able to use Machina's ability to get rid of it, deal 1 damage to target contender, as well as deal more damage to the target contender from Machina's ability. Then you can bring it back with cards like Heavy Brawler. So you can see how there's some synergy here, right? Going down to Mean Streak's kit, Mean Streak, like I said, the old Mean Streak was all about a combo deck. It was all about putting a bunch of streak counters on one big card that's really good, and then just, overwhelming your opponent. This Mean Streak's a little bit different. This Mean Streak's all about tempo, right? As we can see over here, some of his cards say when they enter, put 1 streak counter on target Clash card you control. When this card has 2 or more streak counters on it, get 1/1 and breakthrough. So it's more about just getting like quick 1 to 2 counters on something, give it a small buff, and then be able to remove counters when you need to have some card draw, right? So, for example, right, being able to use both Mean Streak's ability as well as the abilities of the cards to put 2 to 3 counters very quickly before they're dealt with. Mean Streak also has a Clash ground called Downtown Chicago, which directly counters some of Machina's kit and allows you to really have some agency in some of the cards that you're going with. And as we're looking at it here, I wanted to bring this up really fast because I feel like it's really important. And there's so much in here. So yeah, downtown Chicago, weapons cost 1 additional resource of any color to attach. So since Machina is really big about weapons and non-trap accessories, having downtown Chicago in the field allows it a little bit harder for Machina to continuously use his game plan. So as you can see, there's some really cool cards here. All 11 that you see right here are Clash exclusive to the Clash kit itself. The Last Stand over there on the right, this is a really cool thematic card. So what I like about The Last Stand is it doesn't have anything to do with the 2 Clash contenders that are in the Clash kit. This is like a little bit of ode to both set 2 and set 1, as well as the lore itself. So this says Alpha Hunter and Rogue Clash cards get +0/+1, so they get 1 extra defense. Rogue Clash cards you control get Trigger Obstruct, so whenever they block, ready this card after this Clash. This effect only triggers once per turn. So basically, you're allowed to restand a Clash card if it survives once per turn. And then you may only play this card if you control at least 1 Alpha Hunter or Rogue Clash card. So these don't synergize with either one of the Clash kits. This is meant to have a really cool card, and it's a Clash ground. Really cool card for those other archetypes. And again, like I said, they wrote their own comic book for this game, their own novel for this game. I just got it, and I'm gonna put in another video here soon. So this kind of also plays into the lore. If you can take the time to learn a little bit about the lore, that'll make it even better for you when you're talking about these Clash kits. And then finally, the pack art. This is the last thing I wanted to show because I thought it was really cool. They gave it to me. The pack art's really sick. They show all 4 of the new contenders. Some have been spoiled, some haven't, so I won't go too in-depth just to make sure I don't say something I'm not supposed to say. But it's really cool to see this type of artwork. They went with a brand new art style. I think they have a new art team. They do have a new art team for this game. For set 2. So they kind of went with this like old school, really comic book-esque art style. Before in set 1, they had great art, but it was more of like a modern version almost. This one, as you can see, like even without the packs, if you just look at the contenders, you can tell that they really went with like this old school, hand-drawn, comic book-esque type artwork. And it's really, really neat to see it. And as you can see here with Mean Streak, like I said, being able to attack and put a streak counter on a card, along with cards that also get streak counters when they attack, you can just stack really fast. I love Mean Streak, so I could go on about him. But, yeah, I'm really excited to see where this game goes. Like I said, I wanted to do this spoiler video a little bit different than I would do a traditional spoiler video for any card game. Normally, I would just do like a fun reveal and then make it all thematic and cool and then call it a day. But here I wanted to kind of give the why to some of these things because I feel like a lot of people are still discovering this game. And I think from a new player perspective, I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of insight into all this stuff. I can tell you right now, both of these contenders are really, really cool. They both do similar things to their prior counterparts with Torque and the first Mean Streak, but they do it a little bit more tempo-based. Both Set 1 Torque and Set 1 Mean Streak are combo decks. Both of these are tempo decks, at least in my opinion, as a player. So definitely highly recommend you check it out. They'll be releasing here upcoming. I'll put all the info down in the description below once spoiler season is continued. Please be on the lookout for this game. You know, you have starter kit, you have boxes, things of that nature. Get more people in this game. They also have a website down below where you can make your own deck. You can try out decks on Tabletop Simulator. They have all the resources that you possibly could want for this game. The people over there are super passionate about what they do, and it's been a super amazing game to enjoy myself as this year has gone on. So hopefully you like this type of content. Hopefully you enjoyed this spoiler-esque type video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What seems cool to you? You know, what you would like to see, like if you're excited for anything else during spoiler season. And yeah, thank y'all so much for joining me on the spoiler, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much. Have a good day.